going on, everyone? So one of the big things that I've talked about is the Lakers, obviously, they need a center. It's priority numero uno. But they don't need just one. They need two centers, right? You need a clear-cut starting center, and you need a clear backup center, right? Jackson Hayes is expected to depart because he wasn't happy with his role towards the end of the season, so he's expected to go elsewhere. That's fine. Not worried about it. I would have been fine keeping Jackson Hayes. I even talked about it. Like, hey, him as a development big, kind of your third big, right? Fine, so be it. Okay. But him departing, it's fine. You got Christian Koloko. Just bring Christian Koloko in as like your third big, right? Christian Koloko kind of gives you the same things that he gives you. I think he's better disciplined, better shot blocker, better defender, and he spreads the floor or has the ability to. He definitely something he needs to work on, but he's a development big too, just like Jackson Hayes. I think you're fine in that regard. One of the things that I really want the Lakers to do is kind of have that the versatile bigs. I don't think that they necessarily need a skilled big. I don't think you necessarily need a Mark Williams or anything like that, right? I don't think you need a guy necessarily that's going to, you dump the ball down to and go get you 20, right? Like, because one, how many field goal attempts is that center going to get? How much opportunity is he going to get slotted alongside Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves? You know, unless they trade Austin Reeves, which probably unlikely unless some, big name becomes available that makes sense, right? So between those three, bare minimum, any center you get, best case scenario is your fourth option, right? So realistically, how much opportunity is he going to get to be that 20 and 10 center, right? To me, I just think you need a center in the starting role that gives you three things, right? Rebounding, shot blocking, and be athletic enough to be a lob threat, right? So if you can get those things, then that's perfect, right? So again, even like a Clint Capella, Jericho Sims, right? Nick Claxton, right? There's a lot of options on the market, luckily, right? And there's only so many teams that need centers, right? So Lakers I believe the Lakers are going to be able to solve their center position. I think they're going to be able to solve it pretty easily. It's just, what center is that? And are they able to get one of the, more sexy names, one of the more versatile guys? I'm not saying if you can't get a Mark Williams or something like that, not do it, right? It'd be great to have a guy like a Mark Williams. I'm just saying, I don't think that's a necessity. I just think you need a good, serviceable center. You just need a guy that can do the three things that I mentioned, and you're good, right? But I also think you need a clear-cut backup. One of the things that I really want to see the Lakers have is in a perfect world, skilled center, right? Again, I'm not saying it's a necessity, but if you can get that, skilled center, big physical interior center, and then that floor running center. You look at the 2020 roster, right? You had Anthony Davis as your skilled big. Obviously, you're not going to be able to replace Anthony Davis, but just skill big that can, do multiple things, that doesn't need setup, that can, take guys off the dribble, knock down the 15-footer, maybe stretch the floor a little bit, right? Like, gives you that skill, right? Also defend, do things, right? Give me a skilled big. Then you had Dwight Howard, who was that big, physical, imposing big that banged with the big boys and got the hard fouls and got the techs and all that stuff. And then you had the JaVale McGee that was the floor-running, high-flying dunker spot big, right? So to me, it's like, okay, if you could get a Mark Williams and a, a Clint Capella and then a Christian Koloko, perfect. Now you kind of got those things, or a Day'Ron Sharpe, whatever, right? Now you kind of got those things. Got that physical, bull in a china shop center. You got the, skilled big, and then you got that floor running, athletic, versatile big. Boom, there you go. So reports have came out, though, which is good, according to Anthony Irwin, that the Lakers want centers, as it was put, plural, right? And that's like their priority, and they're expected to be aggressive and have already kind of started the process in trying to acquire that, right? So that's good because, again, Lakers, they know that they need multiple centers, right? Because, the big fear is like the Lakers go and sign a Clint Capella and go, job's finished. Good job, guys. Way to go. Fist bumps all around, right? Like, we did it. And that's what I don't want to see. Like, that's my fear, is that the Lakers end up, they just go get one center and they're like, we got Jemison and Koloko, right? Like, yeah, those guys are great as like your third big in a spot, but as like your starter or primary backup or starting in a pinch in any given night, it's probably not ideal, right? So to me, it's like, okay, can you, more likely than not, the starting center is going to have to be via trade. Now, again, unless you're getting a Clint Capella or something like that, but if you want a clear-cut starter, particularly for the long term, right? And I've even said, I'm not against the Lakers just kind of doing the stopgap thing, right? Like, go get a Clint Capella and like a Jericho Sims, call it a day, and then use your assets to go get perimeter depth and 3-and-D wings and maybe some bench depth, because Lakers have a lot of needs, right? So like if you can kind of just solve your needs with the limited cap space that you have, and then use your assets to go get the other needs that you wouldn't be able to get with your cap space, I'm okay with that. But if you can get that kind of longevity center, if you can get a Nick Claxton, a Daniel Gafford, a Walker Kessler, whomever, right? If you can get that guy, then yeah, go get that guy. That guy's going to have to come via, a trade, right? Lakers are going to have to pull off a trade in order to get said guy. Now, again, it's very possible that they're able to pull that off. And the more names that keep getting thrown out, which is good, right? You keep hearing about, now you got Jared Allen, and you got, Triple J could be a potential option. And that was before the 15 other guys that are on the market, right? So the beauty for the Lakers is the more names that keep coming out and keep getting thrown out. And we're not even in the offseason. Just wait till we get to the offseason. There's potentially more. The more that there is, the more abundance of options there are, the more likely it is that the Lakers are able to get a guy, and especially at the price point in which they want, right? Without having to sell the farm. It's because one, there's only so many teams that need a starting center or like a primary back. Most teams have that guy. Most of the good teams have that guy. Most of the bad teams are developing that guy, right? So they don't necessarily need that guy. Right? You have teams like, obviously, like the Warriors could really use a center. I expect them to kind of be in play for some of these guys. But outside of that, it's like the Lakers, right, really need a center. There's a couple teams that need centers. But point is, like, if there's, say, 3 teams that really need a starting center, but there's 7 guys, well, even if one falls off the board to one of the other teams and another, like, the Lakers are still in good shape to go land a center or 2 that they need via trade. Ideally, I've talked about, I'd like to look, can you go to a Brooklyn Nets team and get a Claxton and a Day'Ron? Boom, just solved your center position all in one trade. Right now, you'd have to sign and trade for Day'Ron Sharpe, which would hard cap you, but still, point is that, like, hard cap you at the second apron, which is fine. Lakers, I don't think are going to be in the second apron regardless. But point is, like, okay, boom, now you got that. You got those. Now, I just think the Lakers would be in really good shape at that point. I think the Lakers, now you have your center position locked up for the next 8 to 10 years. Now you can focus on, okay, what's the next thing? Okay, now we need, 3-and-D wings. Right, okay, well, let's keep Dorian Finney-Smith. Can we go get a Nickeil Alexander-Walker? Can you go get, maybe in a Nets trade? Can you go get a Cam Johnson? Just do everything. Get Nick Claxton, Day'Ron Sharpe, and Cam Johnson all in one swoop and sell the farm and go make that happen. I'm not against that at all either, right? But we'll see what the Lakers do. But I'm glad that the Lakers, based on the reports, understand that they need 2 centers, because they do, and they need it badly. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? If you have any thoughts, agree with me, disagree with me, kind of mixed in the middle. How do you feel either way? Let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos. Truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.